Okay guys, tonight we're actually going to get back on the HTML track, and it's been a long time since I've talked about this, but I really do think it's important for DBAs to know HTML. There are a lot of times when having even a little bit more than perfunctory knowledge of something like HTML can really help you, especially when looking at other people's code, right? Because we get asked to do that all the time. So tonight we're going to talk about HTML tables. Now, I'm editing in Primal Script, which is Sapien's script editor, but you can do it in anything. There are lots of free HTML editors out there. You can do it in Notepad and WordPad. It's not that difficult to find something to edit HTML in. So, I'm just going to, well, I'll go ahead and change the title. Let's see, we'll say tables. Ooh, I'm going to get really fancy here. And remember, title is what's going to come up in the browser window when you go there. Yeah, get rid of that. It's going to come up in the browser tab, right? Okay, so to create a table, and you'll see what okay, let me step back for a second and say that tables get a really bad rap, right? There are lots of books out there that say HTML without tables, CSS is better, don't use tables anymore. Well guys, there's nothing wrong with tables. Tables can get kind of thick if you nest one table inside another table, inside another, inside another. Yeah, they can get really thick and hard to read, but a good basic table, there's still little substitute for it. I mean, they're so versatile and they're so easy, right? And for those of you who have seen my PowerShell stuff, you know, we create tables in there, right? I mean, when we're creating alert emails and whatnot. So this is the kind of thing that's going to help you when creating good HTML alert emails to send either to yourself, to your team, to your customers, whatever, right? So, okay. Now let's actually get into the code. To create a table, you have to just define a table tag. And I'm going to do this. Now remember, HTML ignores white space. So any indents you put in there or any formatting you do is only for you, right? HTML doesn't care. I could have all this on one line. So I've got my table defined. So the next thing I've got to do is I've got to start defining some rows. So I do a table row, tr, and you notice how it's got an open and close. So anything in between here is going to be on the same row. Now I need some table columns, right? So you'd think it'd be TC, but it's not. It's TD. I think that stands for table domain, right? Like it does in SQL. So anything that goes in between these two TD tags is going to be a column. So let's go here and just say column 1, right? And I'll come in here and say TD again. And I'll say column 2. And I'll say TD again. And I say column 3. Now, that's pretty much the classic example that you're going to get into when people start with tables is column 1, 2, and 3, right? But it's really good to show you how this works. So I saved that, and I've got that right here. So if I bring that up, I've got column 1, 2, and 3 right there, right? So let's say I want to do more, right? Where's Sapien? There it is. So I want to do, you know, 2 rows. Well, let me just copy that. Because remember, anything inside that TR is going to be a single row. So I'll just give us a space between our 2 rows. So now I'll have 2 rows of data instead of 1. So when I hit F5, now I've got 2 rows, right? So, you know, the easiest way to do this is, you know, you've got a row, and what do you want to be on that single horizontal row? Well, I want a column on that row. Well, I want another column on that row. So anything that goes in between these TD tags is what's going to be displayed in that row, including other HTML. So I could easily say, well, here, let's do this instead. Let me come here. Let me say something easy like H1, right? Take that to the end, right there. And so this ought to really screw up the table, but you'll see what I mean. So I've got H1 right there. So you can do all kinds of things. Let's say I wanted to do, I wanted to have two things in there. Say I wanted to have a break and column 1A, right? So you can see I get column 1A down here. If I take that H1 away, which is what's creating all that space, there we go. Now I've got two items right here, right? And then I've got the rest of it. So, it includes anything, including other HTML. That's pretty cool. But what if you want to name your columns, right? Because every good table you see has the columns named. Here, let's say I just took that away. Has the columns named. Well, all we need is a column header, right? So all we need to do at the top of the table is to define some headers. So table header, and inside this table header I'll say column 1, right? And I'll do two more, and this one will say column 2, and this one will say column 3. There we go. So now you can see I've given headers to each one of my columns, right? And so now I can tell what that data is supposed to be. And you can apply styles to these, you can put borders on it, you can do all kinds of things, right? So this is just a real basic tutorial on tables. And again, it doesn't matter, all of this could be on one line, but you need to know this kind of thing because you guys are out there formatting alert emails and whatnot, and you're putting those things into columns and rows, and you want your data to look nice, right? Or you want to be able to pop up a simple web page or edit a simple web page that somebody else has done. And we're going to get more sophisticated with this as these tutorials go on. But this is where you start, right? So go ahead, take this. It's a real simple tutorial, and later on maybe we'll build on it and I'll show you how to put in some styles and all that stuff. Okay? All right, take care.